Good morning, everyone. I am very excited to be joining you here right now. I see we've still got some more people logging in. We're going to give you a couple minutes to get logged in and kind of settled. My name is Rebecca Jenkins. I am the person who's going to be presenting to you about the University of Findlay. I am the Assistant Vice President of Recruiting here at the University of Findlay, and I work very, very closely with our international admissions team and our marketing team, actually. So I want to give a minute or two for everyone to get kind of logged in. Good. Well, with that, I see we've got a great number of people joining us. I am very happy to be talking to you from Findlay, Ohio this morning. It is morning for us here. It is 8 a.m. I know that you guys, it's probably a little bit later in the day for you. I am here to talk about what opportunities the University of Findlay has for international students like yourself and talk about our scholarships and the admission process. And I am happy to take questions, and you can see in the chat I have put links to a couple of videos that you can watch and our virtual campus tour, and then a link to our application page. If you, good morning or evening, if you are interested in learning a little bit more about that. And then before we get started here, I want to have an intro video played that just gives you an overview of what the University of Findlay looks like. A couple of our international students actually put the, good morning or good evening, everyone, put a couple of the videos together. So if you, Nakadia, want to play that video that I've got there in the chat for the group.
Just a second, I'm sharing the video.
And this video is
University of Findlay. As an international student, we want to give you a preview of what you can look forward to as a future Oiler.
We're so excited to have the opportunity to welcome you to our campus. Here's what you can expect from your time here.
The University of Findlay has nearly 100 academic programs to choose from at both the undergraduate and graduate level. Oilers have been exploring and pursuing their passions since the school opened in 1882. Over the years, we have been proud to welcome international students from all over the world.
There are a few key places on campus that international students should know.
Whether you just arrived or need temporary housing, our welcome houses are here to help.
The welcome houses are a great resource for new international students who are looking for a place to stay while they look for an apartment, either on campus or off campus.
If you arrive to campus after business hours, this will be your first stop.
The Office of International Admission is another great resource.
And the first place you'll go. Once you arrive, you can check in here and our staff will help you to get ready for orientation. Throughout the semester, you can also stop by for any questions you have about immigration or if you need any assistance during your time here.
To get started on your journey or to talk to someone in international admissions,
please send us an email at international@findlay.edu. You can also follow us on Facebook.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Go Oilers!
that video actually has a couple of our graduate assistants in it who have since graduated and moved on, but it still makes me chuckle when I see them. So with that, I'm going to share my screen here with you guys and show the presentation. Oh, I see we've got it up there already. I can get this to work. I can. Okay, hold on. I want to be able to advance it myself. It's not, doesn't look like it did when we demoed it. Okay, does everybody see that okay? And then I flip the screen. Okay, there we go.
We can't see, but it's not full screen, Rebecca.
Yep, how about that? Is that better?
Yes,
okay,
you.
Perfect. Okay, this picture gives you an example of what our main campus looks like. We are located in Findlay, Ohio. So if you are not familiar with the United States, we are in this Midwest part of the United States. Findlay is in the northwest part of Ohio, so we are about a 5-hour drive from Chicago, about a 9-hour drive from New York, only about an 1.5-hour drive from Detroit, if that gives you an idea of where we are at. This part of the country is very beautiful. It is very green. You can see from this picture, this is a picture that's part of our campus that you can see there. So it's very green, gives you an idea of the landscape. It's in this region of Ohio, it's a fairly flat, but the interesting thing about Ohio is you drive about a 1/2 hour in any direction and things look a little bit different. So, but this gives you an idea of the size of campus we are and kind of the landscape and what to expect. A quick overview about the University of Findlay. We have been here since 1882. We are accredited by all the major accrediting organizations. We are not a young campus, which is actually very, very nice. We have nearly 100 academic programs between our bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees. We are about 4,000 students, so we are not super tiny, we are not great big. The nice thing about that is it lets us have smaller class sizes. Our student to faculty ratio is only about 16:1 in classes. So when you're here and you're in a class, you're never going to be sitting in a great big lecture hall with hundreds of students. You might be sitting in a lecture hall with 50 to 60 students, and then in some of your advanced classes, as you become a junior and senior, or even in your grad classes, you might have classes with 10, 15 people. There's a huge advantage to that from a learning standpoint. It gives you an opportunity to really get to know your faculty. They get to know you. You have someone you can ask questions to. It really is a very conducive for learning environment. We are a traditional American college campus. We have students that live on campus, live off campus, and we have students that do online learning as well. So if you are hoping to come here and have a traditional American experience at university where you live in a dorm and you do all those great things, you can do that here. If you are coming for a graduate program or living in a dorm with a bunch of other people really isn't what you want to do, the nice thing is we are located in town. So there's a lot of apartments and houses that are walking distance from campus that absolutely focus on renting to college students. We are a NCAA Division II university. So what that means is we do offer athletic scholarships if you are someone who wants to be a student athlete. That's a little bit different of a recruiting process, but we would just need to know that from early on. We will do our best to get you in front of the coaches for your particular sport. We do have about 25 NCAA sports here at the university. So everything from soccer to equestrian riding, to track and field, to tennis, golf, those sorts of things. So a lot of our students are actually student athletes here at Findlay. A little bit of information about our rankings. We are ranked by all the major ranking entities that you would want to be ranked by. We are ranked 239th in the United States. And while the interesting thing about the U.S. News and World Report rankings is they rank either countrywide or in a region. So we are actually ranked nationally, which is better than being ranked just in the region. So as you're looking at schools and they say they're ranked second in the Midwest, that actually means that they're not big enough or good enough to be ranked nationally. So we are actually ranked 239th nationally. And when you consider that there's more than 2,000 universities in the United States, I think that's pretty good. We are a faith-based institution. We are a Christian-based institution. We are affiliated with the Church of God. We are the #1 Church of God school in the United States. A couple of our academic programs also rank really, really high. Our health informatics program, which is a master's degree, is #1 of its type of program in the United States, as well as our occupational therapy and actually our physical therapy programs are ranked in top 100 in the United States. We also rank by the Wall Street Journal, Princeton Review, Money Magazine. So I know a lot of students are interested in that. I think it helps legitimize and make you guys feel more comfortable about where you're looking at. We are academically ranked amongst all of the best schools. This map gives you an idea of where we are in the United States. You can see here with our logo right there, that's where we are at in Ohio. So we are actually really close to the Great Lakes, which is wonderful because if you like recreational activities, going out on boats and that sort of thing, it's about a 45-minute drive to Lake Erie. We're about an 1.5-hour drive from the Detroit airport, 2-hour drive from Detroit itself. Most of our international students, when they arrive, they fly into the Detroit airport. That is our closest international airport. Some may also come into Columbus. You can see that we are only 4 hours from Pittsburgh, 5 hours from Chicago, 9 hours from New York. What's really nice about that is because we are located in a small city, but not a great big city, it's a calm learning environment, but you can see that fun road trips are just a couple hours away. And a lot of our students get to explore the United States and quite a bit of the United States on the weekends, just in a quick car trip. Something I like to go over real quickly. I know COVID-19 has impacted all of us, and just something for you guys to keep in mind. Here in Ohio, we've actually done fairly well throughout the virus. The infection rates in the area are low. Like a lot of other people, we're seeing a little bit of an increase right now here around the holidays, but generally we have done really well. We are continuing to offer in-person classes. There are requirements, of course, in place, physical distancing, mask wearing, but we offered in-person classes in the fall, and we're going to offer in-person classes in the spring. Just to give you an overview of, like, these are the 4 pillars that we really focus on and that the type of educational experience your education will be based on. We are an academically rigorous university. Because we are a private university, we're smaller, academics come first here. Another thing that's really important to a Findlay education experience is we want to make sure you have those experiences that change your view of things, that change your worldview, that challenge your view. So we talk about having transformative experiences, these experiences that happen in the classroom and outside of the classroom. We also really pride ourselves that all of our academic programs have a hands-on learning component built into them. Our goal is so you don't go all the way through a program and get to the end of it and realize that that's not really what you want to do. You will have a lot of opportunity to either do research or to do job shadowing or to do internships or all these other types of things, depending on your program. It gives you a chance to essentially try out that career field before you actually graduate. I mentioned our supportive community before. I have worked at a number of other organizations and a number of universities. I'm an alum of this university, so I can attest specifically to the supportive community that's here. Our faculty care, our staff cares, our students care. Our goal is that students do not fall through the cracks. This is really, really important for international students. We've actually had international students on campus here for more than 50 years. We get it. It's a scary thing to move across an ocean or thousands and thousands of miles away from home, where the culture is different. Sometimes the language is different. You will find help here. You will find people that will make sure that you get acclimated, that you're having a great experience, and people to make friends with. That's what everyone wants. They want to be able to find their own community here. So we are not too big that you will get lost, and we are not too small that you will get bored. So it's really a nice mix. We are grounded in the Christian faith. That idea drives all culture here. I think that's why we are so welcoming and open and nice. But with that said, if growing in your Christian faith, or if you are not a Christian and you're a different religion, that's not going to matter. You will not feel like pressured into anything. There's not standard church services or things that you have to go to that some other Christian schools do. But if you are someone that growing in your Christian faith is important to you, there are a lot of student groups. There's a lot of activities that will help you grow in your faith here at Findlay, if that's what you choose to do. I mentioned that all of our academic programs have hands-on learning built into them. These pictures are just a couple examples of them. One picture is of some of our pharmacy students that are actually working in the pharmacy lab. I think they're doing compounding there of some medications. The second picture is of one of our pre-veterinary medicine students. We actually have a program that we have partnered with a company called Loop Abroad, where our pre-veterinary medicine students get to go all over the world and work with different types of animals in a couple week periods of time, and really gain a wider set of experiences. Some overviews about some of our academic programs, and this picture is nice. It gives you a sense of one of our buildings on campus. This is our Center for Student Life and College of Business. Some of our most popular programs for international students are our Environmental Health, Safety, and Sustainability program. This program has an undergraduate and graduate component to it. You can choose one and stay. You can come as an undergrad and stay for the graduate. This is one of these programs that if you are interested in sciences and you are a people person, this is a great field for you to go into. I can tell you here in the United States that there is such a huge demand for professionals in this program. These students do internships as an undergrad, making $20, $30 an hour as an intern. When they graduate, they have 2 to 3 job offers sitting on the table. These job offers are offering about $80,000 to $90,000. Same thing for our graduate students that go and advance their health and safety degree. So if this is something that you're not quite sure what you want to do, but you know you like science but you really don't want to be behind a desk, and you're a people person, or if you're passionate about improving the environment or workplace safety, public health, this is that type of degree that you really should look at. We have our MBA program. We have both a graduate and an undergraduate business program. A lot of our international students are very excited about the MBA and do really, really well in it. Same thing for our undergraduate business programs. Our computer science and applied analytics program is offered both at the undergraduate and graduate level. This program has become more and more in demand, especially as the pandemic has hit. In this program, you will, at the undergrad level, you will learn basic coding and computer science. At the graduate level, you learn leadership, you learn big data, you learn cybersecurity. All those types of things are in that program. And our graduate programs I've talked about, they're all 2-year programs, by the way. Another program that is growing in interest for us is our pharmacy program. We offer a 6-year doctorate of pharmacy where you can start there as a freshman, and at the end of 6 years, you have the doctorate of pharmacy degree. Education, health informatics, exercise science, nuclear medicine sonography is another program that we have a lot of interest in from our international students. It is if you want to go in the health professions, but blood and guts really isn't your thing, but you like helping people, this nuclear medicine sonography is a great career field where it's working with ultrasound and using certain medications to treat things, but it's not quite as heavy as like a nursing program, which we do have. We have a nursing program as well. One of the neat things about Findlay that you won't find anyplace else, and whether you are an art enthusiast or not, this is something that you will probably find really cool. The University of Findlay is home to the Mazza Museum, which is the world's largest collection of original artwork from children's picture books in the world. We have about 18,000 pieces in this collection. The museum is located directly on campus. A lot of our art students and our education students take advantage of this collection for their own education. We have a lot of elementary students and stuff that come through and tour the museum. It is just a really neat, beautiful, special place that I think I like to walk through because it can be very relaxing and reminiscent of childhood for you. Another program that's really big here at the University of Findlay is our animal sciences programs. If you are interested in pursuing a field in animals, whether that is being a vet or if equestrian horse riding is something that you are really passionate about, we actually have academic programs here specifically around those. Our animal science program or pre-veterinary medicine program is the #1 in the United States. Our students here in the United States to get into vet school is really, really difficult. And our students have an 85% acceptance rate into vet school. The national average is about a 9% acceptance rate into vet school. This has a lot to do with the facilities and the faculty that we have. You will work with animals beginning your freshman year here at the University of Findlay. And our equestrian riding teams are national champions almost every year. Our Western equestrian team is 3 years running. We've been national champions. And even if you're someone that maybe you don't want to major in equestrian riding or have a career in it, but you want to be in the writing team, we have a lot of our students that will do that too. They'll major in something else, but try out for the writing team and then make the team. They still get to pursue that passion, but maybe it's not their academic focus. And again, if you are interested in either one of these programs, please let me know. The recruiting for those programs is a little bit different than our traditional students, but we've got great recruiters that can walk you through that process. And just like a traditional college campus, there is a lot to do here. Now this year with COVID, we weren't able to do quite as much, but we have all of our athletic sports. We have a lot of intramural sports. Those pictures there you can see of our rec center and our cardio center where even if you're not a student athlete, but fitness is important to you, there's a lot of great facilities to do that in. A little bit about the city of Findlay, where we are located. So we are the University of Findlay, located in the city of Findlay, that's in the Midwest part of Ohio. The neat thing about the city of Findlay is it is a smaller community, only about 41,000 people, but we have been named the #1 small city in the United States for, I think we're on 6 years in a row here. This is for a lot of reasons. It is a really safe area. It is a beautiful, clean area. There's a lot of great businesses in town. Unemployment rate is always really low. We have a lot of Fortune 500 companies in town. You can see we actually have a decent number of international businesses that are here in town. One of the biggest things, aside from the cleanliness and it's clean and their school systems are really good, the cost of living in Findlay is really low. So you as a potential student, that's really important to you because if you choose to live off campus, renting an apartment, especially if you find a couple of friends, or renting a house, is going to be really, really affordable. For like a quick comparison, if you make $50,000 in Findlay, that is comparable to making $124,000 a year in New York City. So if you are considering a couple different locations in the United States, it is really important for you guys to figure out what the cost of living there is, because that can be the difference between, oh, the tuition looks good, I didn't look at the cost of living. That's going to have a big part of this with affordability, because if your rent is $1,200 a month for a little apartment, that's going to be really difficult. We're here in Findlay, most apartments, most 2-bedroom apartments, 3-bedroom apartments are about $500-600 a month. And you get a couple roommates and you split that, you can see where that can quickly become really, really affordable. We are only about a mile from downtown, so there's sidewalks all the way downtown. So a lot of our students enjoy walking downtown. A lot of restaurants and nightlife downtown. It's really a neat area. Here in Findlay, I always like to point this out. Depending on how familiar you are with the United States, different parts of the United States have different weather. The weather in Findlay, you will experience all 4 seasons here. Our summers are hot. You can see the average high in the summer. Our winters are cold. Right now we're in winter and there is snow on the ground. And spring and fall is really beautiful and really comfortable. The nice thing here, where our summers are hot, but typically your average temperature is about 29 degrees Celsius. It does get hotter, but it doesn't last that long. Like we'll get up, 15, 20 degrees hotter than that sometimes, but it's a day or two. So it doesn't stay super hot all summer. The same thing with winter. Is our average temperature in the winter is about 3 degrees Celsius. Right now, I think this morning it's about 32 degrees Fahrenheit, and I don't know that conversion off the top of my head. But it's like we'll have snow on the ground, but it's not like some pictures where you see where the snow piles up really, really high. So we've got a little bit of snow on the ground, and it's supposed to get above freezing this week, and it'll melt the snow, and then it'll be that way for a week or two, and then it'll snow again. So it's neat because you get to experience all 4 seasons. The trees are beautiful in the fall. The flowers come out in the spring. We've got a student here that just arrived from India a couple weeks ago, and she's excited because she got to see snow for the first time. So there's all those neat experiences to look forward to. Okay. Cost. This is something that is very important to everyone. If you are looking at an undergraduate educational experience, you can see here we offer a lot of scholarships for our international students, and our scholarships are based on your grade point average. And you can see here the chart and the breakdown. So our tuition fees by itself is about $35,000 a year for undergraduate education. If you are a high achieving student with a 3.9 GPA or higher, you can get a $21,000 a year scholarship to here. So you can see where that can really take your price down quite a bit. At a minimum, every international student, because our minimum GPA acceptance rate at undergrad level is 2.0. So at a minimum, you will get a $12,000 scholarship. These scholarships are awarded automatically once we calculate your credentials and your GPA at the point of admission. And once you're awarded the scholarship, it doesn't change throughout the 4, maybe sometimes 5 years that you were here as an undergrad. If you have a rest semester, we don't pull your scholarship from you. So once you're awarded it, you can plan on it for 4 or 5 years of being here. Next slide. A little bit about some of our graduate programs. I mentioned our Masters of Environmental Health and Safety. It's a 2-year program. It's one of only 9 programs in the United States accredited by EHEC, which is one of the big accrediting bodies for that type of program. It's very much in demand. Cost for the program after scholarships is about $22,000 total. So that's for the total of the 2 years. So you figure you'll be here about 4 semesters, and it's about $6,000 a semester. If that gives you kind of an approximation of what you're looking at for cost. Our Masters of Health Informatics, I mentioned this one before too. It's #1 in the United States. It is a great program if you are either in the technology field and you want to go on for a master's degree, or even if you have an interest in healthcare. But again, direct patient care isn't quite what you want to do. This is the degree that will help you become an expert in electronic medical records and making sure that there's a good continuum of care between all the data that comes in for patients. This program is a little bit more expensive. Total cost for the 2-year program is about $27,000. Again, you split that over 4 years, you're looking at about $6,500 a semester for that program. Our Masters of Applied Analytics, Security and Analytics is one that is very much in demand right now. Again, it's a 2-year program. Project management, cybersecurity, information management, statistics, secure coding, You can see all the different things, skill sets that you will learn in that program. This program is available online and in person, as well as, I should have mentioned that before, our environmental health and safety program, as well as our health informatics program. You can take those programs online as well. And with all of those programs, it is the same faculty and the same structure, whether it's an online program or they're taking it online or in person. And so what more and more of our international students are doing is, because of the pandemic and not being able to get visas or get their flights, or they're just not quite comfortable with traveling yet, they are starting these programs online. So they'll start them in January, and they'll do them from their home country. And then hopefully in fall, when the vaccine is out and people are a little bit more comfortable traveling and they can get a visa in the time for a start date, then they plan to come here and finish the program in person. So it does give you an opportunity to still make progress towards your life goals of getting your degree, even if you can't travel outside your home country right now. This program, again, you can see total cost is $27,000 over 2 years. Again, you split that over 4 semesters, it's only about $6,400 or $6,500 a semester. Our MBA program is one of the top MBA programs in Ohio. Again, this one you can take this in person or online. This program, if you are really aggressive and take 9 credit hours to maybe 12 credit hours a semester, you can finish this program in 1 calendar year if you're really working. Like, that would include a summer. Some of our students really like to do that because it gives them a chance to get their MBA in 1 year, and especially if their goal is to go back home and they have a family home, that they can only be here a year, still get a great education and a U.S. College experience, but then they're not away from their life at home for more than a year. You can see that the program is fully accredited. This one's a little bit cheaper. It's about $2,300 for the 2-year program, depending on how you split it throughout the time. We also have a Master's of Education program and a Master's of TESOL program that a lot of our international students are really excited about. For our graduate programs, we do not require the GRE or GMAT for any of the graduate programs. However, if you take that, or you've already taken it and you can see the minimum score eligibility, you can get another $1,000 in scholarships if you reach those minimum scores and submit your scores. And we can also waive your English language requirement. We do have English language requirement for a lot of the countries that aren't primary English speaking. In some cases we can waive it, but it's another way that, if you can do well on the GMAT, then your English language level should be fine. So we do waive it for that. A little bit about our application process. We do not have an application fee. We do not have application deadlines either. So we have about a 1 to 2 week turnaround time on application decisions. Right now, this time of year, I can tell you we are still processing applications for our January intake, which is a class to start January 11th, and our orientation is January 7th. So it's starting to get fairly tight, but again, it depends on you. It depends on what country you're in, how long it takes you to get a visa, how readily flights are available. That's why we don't put application deadlines in place. We have students that will apply a couple days before Christmas for a January intake, and they will be here a week later to start classes. So if you are someone that you're really interested in starting in January, I do ask at this point you let me know so we can make sure that we move your application through quickly, so it doesn't hang there, because we do have a good volume of applications right now. And so we're trying to process the most urgent ones first at this point in the entry point. But again, if you are wanting to start for fall, you still apply right now, and that way we can get everything done in plenty of time for you to get your visa appointment and get your travel arrangements made. When you're looking at it as an undergraduate student, our minimum grade point average for admission is a 2.0. We just need your high school credentials, transcripts, certificate or diploma if you have it. If you're still in high school and you don't have it, I completely understand, and we'll ask for that once you arrive. You can see our English language test score minimums there that we require. We do have an English language program here. So say your IELTS is below a 6.0, and you're like at a 5.5. We do have an English language program that you can still get conditional admission, whether you're a grad or undergrad, and maybe you take a semester in the English language program, and then advance your English skills and then move into your program. We have some students that they'll have the IELTS minimum 6.0, but when we come here, we do have you do an AccuPlacer test just to see where your English is really at. You may have to take an additional class while you're taking your other classes. Our goal really is to make sure that you are successful here. So that's why we do have our English language requirements, because if you cannot understand the language when someone's speaking, or if you struggle with reading the language or any parts of it, you're really going to struggle to be a successful student. So our goal is to make you do everything we can to make sure you are successful here at Findlay. We now are accepting Duolingo as an English language test score. I'm not sure if that's something that's becoming popular in your region. Duolingo is an online English language test. The wonderful thing about Duolingo is you can do it at any point at your own convenience, and it's only $49 to take the test, and I believe it only takes about an hour. So we do accept that test score now. We need your passport and your bank statement at the point that we need to issue your I-20. We do not require the ACT or SAT for admission. And for graduate admissions, again, we don't require the GRE or GMAT for our graduate admissions programs. Again, we need your bachelor's degree transcripts from all the schools that you had degrees from, certificate or your diploma. You can see our English language test scores. They're a little bit higher at the graduate level. IELTS is a 6.5, Duolingo is a 105. Copy of your passport, bank statements that show funds for at least 1 year for your available studies. And we need those two things in order to be able to issue your I-20. That's actually not a University of Findlay requirement. That's a United States requirement. In order to have an I-20 issued for any school, you need to have proof that you have funds available to pay for the program and a copy of your passport. And so if you are working with a recruiting partner, this is a screenshot that is from our application, that there is a place in the application to put in your recruiting partner's name that we just want to make sure it's put in there. That way we can communicate to both your recruiting partner, your agent, and yourself. So that's the thing I always like to point out. And so with that is my entire presentation. And so for that, I am happy to talk through any questions or answer any questions that you guys have. I see a lot.
There are many questions in the questions tab.
I love this university too. It's one of the comments. I'm actually an alum of this university. I graduated from here about 20 years ago, and I got to come back about 10 years ago and work in marketing and recruiting for the university. And it is so much fun and so exciting because I get to help students connect with the university and have a similar experience to what I got to have. I can tell you, I came here as a freshman and did not really know what I wanted to do, which is okay. You don't need to know what you want to do when you're an undergraduate student. And I had faculty that took an interest in me and said, hey, you know what? You're really good at these types of things. You should you should go into marketing. And if I hadn't had someone steer me in that direction and take an interest in me, who knows what career path I would have ended up in. And now that I get to come back here and talk with potential students like you and answer questions, it is always so much fun that I get to do that. One of the questions, any facilities for internships during our study? Yes, we have an internship and career placement office here at Findlay. We also have on-campus jobs for students here in the United States. If you come in on an F1 visa, you actually cannot work off campus, but we do have a lot of on-campus jobs for students that they can work at and earn some extra money. And it's anything from working in our campus television station and our campus radio station as like a radio DJ to we have graduate assistants positions for some, work study. There's a lot of different opportunities students have. You can be a teaching assistant, you can be a research assistant to a faculty member. I actually have 3 to 4 international students that'll work here in my office at any given time. So we do work that if you want to work while you're here on campus, there should be some opportunity for you to do that. One of the questions was, is there compulsory SAT or ACT for undergraduate applications? Nope, we do not require them, especially not this year. We know how difficult it is for people to get to taking the ACT and SAT. Another question was, is there a GRE or GMAT if GPA is not high? The minimum GPA for most of our graduate program is a 2.5. Some are a little bit higher, but the minimum for most of the programs I talked about, the minimum GPA is a 2.5. So we do not require the GRE or GMAT, but if your GPA is below a 2.5, then you won't be admissible to Findlay, regardless of what your GRE or GMAT score. That's a good question. I've actually not had that one before. Question here, it says, I'm currently a first-year computer engineering department student. It's possible to transfer university. Yes, that is, I'm guessing that would be an undergraduate program. We do have students more and more that are coming in as transfer students. So I talked a little bit about scholarships. And again, this would be based on your grade point average coming in for scholarships. So we would take into account your grade point average for your first year of computer science degree, and that's how we would calculate your scholarship amount. If you are interested in transferring in, throughout the application process and the recruiting process, please make sure and let us know that. You'll be assigned an admissions counselor. You guys will probably be someone by the name of Toto. Make sure that he knows that you want to transfer credits in, because we can attribute that when we do the credential evaluation, and make sure and let your academic advisor know that you want to transfer credits in so they can advise you accordingly. And when you arrive, you will actually be assigned an individual academic advisor who will help you through your entire college experience here at Findlay. So the nice thing about being small, the size that we are, that's the type of question that you would have with your advisor. Be like, hey, here's my transcripts. I've already have these classes. Which classes here can I skip, essentially, and then get done a little bit quicker? That's a good question. Do we have to have a work permit while we are studying, or also after we graduate? I talked a little bit about that with the work permit. Is here in the United States, if you have an F1 visa, you can't work off campus, but we do have on-campus work opportunities. Now, after you graduate, you can apply for OPT, is what it's called here, where it's either a 1-year OPT or a 3-year OPT if you are in one of the STEM science-based programs. Some of those have a 3-year OPT requirement with it, or ability with it, which would be like our environmental health and safety does, our health informatics program. The computer analytics program has a 3-year OPT, and you would apply through all that through the International Admissions Immigration Office. So we would handle the OPT for you guys. What do I have to do to be accepted, work or educate, whatever. Again, depending on the program is kind of where, what you have to do to be accepted. So our acceptance rates are largely based on your transcripts and your calculated grade point average coming in. And so every once in a while we'll have a student that falls just below that acceptance rate. So then sometimes we will ask for additional letters of recommendation, or we can go to the faculty member who is reviewing it for admission and say, hey, this student, we've got these letters of recommendation. They're just below the acceptance rate. Can we give him a shot? And lots of times that does work. Now, if you're way below our grade point average, I've got one student now who's got like a 1.5 GPA. That's too far, and it's for a graduate program. That's just too far below. We can't waive that one. I'm someone who is studying bioengineering right now. Any graduate programs that I can apply to? That is the one program that we do not have here at the University of Findlay is engineering. We don't have any form of engineering. I'd love to have engineering, but we do not. But in bioengineering, that is a program I would recommend either looking at the Masters of Environmental Health and Safety. There's a lot, especially bioengineering, there's a lot of courses. That program is very science heavy as well. A lot of courses that transition over from that degree that could be a really good fit for you. And that one is one that's very, very much in demand and very lucrative here in the United States. And I know it is abroad as well. Here's a really good question. Is campus in the center of a city? How about accommodation options if we prefer to rent outside of campus? We are in town. I don't know that I would say we are right in the middle of the city, but we are very much in an area where there's a lot of apartments and houses that are walking distance from campus to rent. You are, as an international student, you are not required to live on campus. In fact, most of our international students do not. However, with that said, if you are right out of your secondary school and this is your first time living away from home, away from your parents' home, I do recommend living on campus at least your first year. You will establish more friends that way. You get to participate in more experiences that way. You'll have a better experience overall. If you're a graduate student or you're a transfer student, living on campus is not something you need to do at all. But the nice thing with where we're located is the apartments that most people rent or houses are walking distance, and you can still feel like you're on campus. We've been here a long time, so there's a lot of local people who have bought houses right next to campus, and they rent them to college students all the time. And this is not something actually that you need to know when you come in. You saw in the video, we do have what we call welcome houses. So we can pick you up at the airport if you need, And you can stay in our welcome houses for about the first 2 weeks that you were here at Findlay. And in the welcome houses are a couple of graduate assistants whose job is to help you find some place to live. So if you decide you want to live on campus, they'll get you hooked up with campus housing and get you moving into a residence hall. If you want to live off campus, they will point you in the right direction for where the best places are to rent. And lots of times our students that come into the welcome houses and they're all kind of staying there together, they end up all renting a house together that's like 3-4 houses down from the welcome houses. So there's a lot of opportunities there, but you don't need to know that when you come. We'll help you figure it out. Good question. Do we offer online programs? Yes, we do. We offer quite a few. Most of our graduate programs are available fully online, and we are working to make more of our undergraduate programs online. So that is, if you've got a specific program you're interested in, please let me know, and I can let you know if it's online or not. The nice thing with our graduate programs being online is it's the same faculty that teaches the in-person. Like our Masters of TESOL program is online, our Masters of Education is online, our MBA, our Health Informatics, the Computer Science Analytics program, the Environmental Health and Safety, all of those programs are online at the graduate level, and you can start them in your home country. And then once you can get a visa, or even if you want to complete them in your home country and stay there the entire time and never have to travel to the United States, you can do that too. We have more and more students taking advantage of that opportunity. Oh, yeah, I did not know that you used to live in Dayton. That is really cool. Well, thank you for that note. Dayton is only about an hour and a half from here. Language requirements. The language requirements, I had that up on the screen. Our IELTS for an undergrad is a 6.0 minimum. For a graduate, it's a 6.5. We do have some of our higher level doctoral programs that have a higher IELTS score of a 7.0, or even some are an 8.0, but those are for like the Doctor of Physical Therapy, Doctor of Occupational Therapy, our Doctor of School Psychology program, those types of things. But we do have our English language school here that if you don't quite meet the language requirements, don't worry about it. Still apply for the program you are interested in, and we can conditionally admit you and then evaluate you once you're here to see how much additional English language you will need before you can go directly. And then from there, you can go directly into the program that you are seeking. We have a lot of students that actually do that. And yes, there's a question, is it possible to get an acceptance with a 2.5 GPA? Yes, for the graduate programs, it absolutely is with a 2.5 GPA. There's a couple that are higher, but for the health informatics, the MBA, the environmental health and safety, and Masters of TESOL, those have a 2.5 minimum GPA for acceptance. So I hope one of those programs meets the needs that you are wanting. If you accept me, will I work on campus? Yes. If we accept you, you will have an opportunity to work on campus, Sammy. We have a career placement office that can help you with that. And some of the on-campus jobs can be really, really fun. And then last question, question about scholarships. I think we talked about that as well. Here's a question. Can you give information about your undergraduate completion program? I'm not sure what that is specifically referencing for completion program. Maybe if you want to repost that question and kind of frame it a little bit differently, I'd be happy to answer it if I can. Is there any changing about start dates and application deadlines due to COVID-19? That's a really good question. No, there's no change because we don't have application deadlines. I will tell you for January, our classes start January 11th. However, that first week of classes this year is actually remote. So the rest of our students will not be here in person until January 18th this year because of COVID. We wanted to give them a couple more weeks longer after break. For international students, we are doing our orientation January 7th. But again, if you cannot get here, the last date to come and register for classes for this January would be the Friday, it would be like the 15th or 16th of January, which is a couple of days after classes start. But we know visas are a challenge, travel is a challenge right now. Once you apply and are admitted, and make sure and let your counselor, your admissions counselor know what you're planning, and because we need to know when you think you'll be able to get here and if that's going to be feasible for this January intake, or if we're going to recommend that you want to wait till fall to start. Is there an advantage to having a high GMAT exam for a fully funded scholarship? Unfortunately, we do not have fully funded scholarships for GMATs at the graduate level. Now, with that said, there are opportunities for graduate students that once you arrive, We do have graduate assistantships. That is an application process that you can apply for once you're here in your first semester, normally, depending on when the GA positions open up. And those positions end up being fully funded. And now that's not a guarantee that everybody gets one, because they're highly competitive and sought after. But there are opportunities for graduate students to have their tuition covered once they arrive. I study in IELTS department. Can I complete my internship there? Not sure what your internship would be included in that, but I know in our English language department, they do have graduate assistants and individuals and students that help in that department, and they do have graduate assistants in that department, and that is something that you're really interested in. Let me know at the point you apply, and we can get you connected with Greg Mott, who runs that program, and put you on his radar. Is everyone that applied to graduate programs able to get scholarships? We offer automatically for any of our graduate programs a $1,000 scholarship, then that extends over the course of the program. If you apply for the MBA or the Master's in Environmental, that one actually has a $2,000 scholarship with that one that extends over the course of the program, so it takes a little bit of that cost down for it. And again, if you provide a GRE or GMAT score that reaches above that amount that I mentioned before, that's an additional $1,000 scholarship. So if you have a GMAT score and you're applying for the MBA, then you can get $3,000 in scholarship to the program. I hope that answers that a little bit. For English documents, is the English preparatory classes passing certificate given by university also valid? Yes, it is its own. Our English language program is its own entity, has its own certificate with it, and that is a valid English language requirement or English language thing that you should be able to use to pass and opt out of other English language requirements at other universities. We of course want our English language students to come here and then go on to graduate, undergraduate, but we have a good number of them that come here just for the English language program because it is so robust and so strong, and they choose to pursue a degree in something else that perhaps we don't have, like engineering. So that's absolutely an option, would be an option for you. I am studying clinical nutrition and dietetics. Do I do a master's degree? If yes, what can I do for this? Oh, that's a good question. So if you are in clinical nutrition and dietetics at a university and you're interested in a master's degree, I would say it depends on what you really want to do with that. That might be one that if pharmacy is something you're interested in, you could transfer into the pharmacy program instead of it being a 6-year program for you. You could probably transfer in it only be 4 years and use your credits to waive the first couple of years of that program. And that with that degree, when you're done, you graduate with a doctorate level, a doctorate in pharmacy degree. Another degree that would be a really nice option for you would be our Master's of Health Informatics might be one, but if tech isn't your thing, trying to think of another. We've got a Master's in Radiological Sciences. That might be a degree that you would be interested in as well. And I'd be happy to have a conversation with you more about that later. And I think that is all the questions that I have in the chat. Does anybody else have any other questions for me? You guys are great.
Rebecca, there was a question from Alton about the undergraduate completion program.
Mm-hmm.
It's not very clear, but I guess it might be about he has an associate degree and asking for completion of undergrad.
Okay, I appreciate the clarification. For that, you would probably come in as a transfer student. So depending on what your associate's in, at the time you apply, you would provide those transcripts and we would evaluate them the time you apply and with what degree you're interested in. We would evaluate your transcripts based on that. And then, if you've got an associate's, chances are you can knock off and finish here in 2 years. We do have a degree completion program. It's a business degree completions program that is entirely online. That might be something that you would be interested in. You've got to have 61 credit hours to be in that program. But that one is entirely online, and most people finish that in less than 2 years, and then you could do it from your home country. And the cost for that program is actually a fair bit less as a degree completion program than it is our regular tuition rate. I think our regular credit hour rate is about $790 a credit hour. That program is about $480 a credit hour, so it's significantly less. So if that is something you're really interested in, I'd like to have a conversation with you. shoot me an email and we can have a conversation about that and see maybe if that would be a program that would fit for you. I'm going to put my email in the chat. So after this, if you think of other questions, please, by all means, drop me an email and I will do my best to answer them and help you through whatever process you have. But I've really enjoyed talking with you guys. And if studying in the United States is really something you're interested in, and even if Findlay is not the right fit, I completely understand. But I encourage you to pursue your dreams no matter where they are. And I hope that I was able to offer some insight into what studying in the United States is something, what it could look like here.
Rebecca, thank you very much. You answered all questions. It was many. And it was very informative webinar session, and it was very grateful. Thank you very much again for joining us.
I'm happy to.
It was very nice to welcome you here.
Excellent. Well, everyone, I've enjoyed talking with you very much, and I wish you have a great rest of the day and a very happy holiday season.
Thank you. You too. Have a good day.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.